I'm telling you, like, flipping makes me nervous. Big weight. All right, y'all, we have an off day today. And what do you do on an off day from fishing? You go fishing. And what I'm gonna kind of show you today is kind of what I do when we're not on a huge body of water, but when you show up to a body of water you've never been to, we got no research, it's just a small little lake, kind of how I break it down. I really want to start with some confidence baits. I got a Texas rig stick bait on there right now. This is this Linky, but the baits that you can cover water with. I started with a chatterbait. I'm gonna jerk a little bit, chatterbait, do some flipping stuff. There's some good looking stuff here, but really, we wanna find what stage the fish are in. You can use your electronics, kind of see where the fish are at, like if they're on brim beds, if they're out off docks, if they're on brush, or if they're up in the grass, then you gotta find them old school. But the best thing I wanna do is start with confidence baits. Can't beat a Texas rig, can't beat a chatterbait, that kind of stuff. Just baits you've caught a lot of fish on. That way you know when you go through an area, you had confidence in it. That's usually what they bite. And they bite the same baits everywhere in the country. And that's why we're gonna go jobbing around. We're gonna fish this little lake, see if we can break it down. All right, this is the main reason that I like to use two different types of forward-facing sonar, whether it's forward-facing like live scope stuff, but also 360, because see, you have bait awareness with live scope. With the Garmin is my preferred choice for forward-facing sonar. I run the Garmin, but that's bait awareness. That's what's your bait doing, where's it at in the water column, that's straight out in front of you, exactly what you're looking at on that cast, and kind of what the fish are doing, but also, I love my 360. It's your situational awareness, it's what's on the bottom, what kind of structure you're fishing, because you can see here, we've just pulled up to a spot, and on the forward, you can see it looks good. You just see some stubble, but also then when you look down at 360, you can see the perfect large brim bed right there. And that's what a lot of those fish love to set up on this time of year. It really helps you kind of, when you're looking at just a forward, you can't tell what it is, but then when you look at a 360, you know exactly in 1 second what you're fishing. Not a bad one. On the old chatterbait. Old Texas rig, Old Faithful. Healthy looking fish. Had to let him check on that thing, son. Always more than one. I love flipping isolated cover like this. Something that you know, it's like, if they're still shallow, they're high percentage of being on. I don't like going to a new lake and having giant lily pad fields, because it's like they could be on lily pads or they could not be, or shallow grass, whatever kind of grass it is. I really kind of want to find the isolated stuff to see if it's even a deal. I mean, because if they're on the isolated stuff, yeah, the big pad field might be better because it'll have more fish. It's time consuming breaking it down. That's why it's just little clumps like this really kind of makes it quick for breaking down. I'm gonna give y'all a quick piece of advice, or not advice, it's not advice at all, it's a tip, fishing tip that Zona actually told me about a long time ago. Instead of bobber stoppers on Texas rigs, I use pegs, it's gone, little rubber pegs. And the reason for that, whether it's a 3/16 ounce weight, whether it's a 1/8 ounce all the way to 1.5 ounces, and the bigger weights it's actually more important for, is because when you're fishing and you get that big one to finally bite it, you just stick it in there like that, and then it slides down. But see, it stays where it's at. Where a lot of people use bobber stoppers, and your weight can't go above that bobber stopper, but once you hook one and that weight slides up like that, thing is, it'll also slide back down and knock that hook out of that fish's mouth. So if you use a peg, it allows you to land more than flipping fish. grass up here. Might be grass on this northern end. That's the thing is when you're fishing a fishery like this too, you've never been to, you kind of really helps figuring out what all covers in there. What kind of vegetation? Is it just docks? Is it just wide open? Is it just lily pads? Because usually if you have submergent vegetation, hydrilla, milfoil, that kind of stuff, that's typically going to be where your biggest population of fish is going to be at. Pads are mostly spawners or just, they're eating in there, eating brim. It'll have a couple fish, but it won't have the massive numbers. I got a jerk bait in my hand currently, but I think I'm wasting my time with a jerk plug. This looks like a brush pile somebody put out here. One local hammers this place. I got him. Oh, he's a little guy. Everything looks good. I need to throw this, probably a bunch more. And I'm gonna put it down. That was so weird. I was literally watching my thing wake and then it just went sideways. I was waiting on my line to move. See, that's why I use actually high-vis line. I was waiting. I had it just sitting there for a second. Oh, he's fired up still, waiting on my line to run. But he was running to us. So I didn't see him till he had it. All right, y'all, we just made a switch. Still throwing a stick bait. Switch to the fluke stick. Switch to a wacky rig. That way just kind of, it's actually, I switched to a wacky rig. It's super shallow here. Like the trolling motor's kicking up dirt, but we're fishing the bank, and I mean, they're typically on the bank. That was the first cast with a wacky worm. I just felt like that Texas rig was getting in that silt too quick and like getting by them. So I switched to wacky worm, something a little less intrusive. He ate that old wacky worm. Look how dark this fish is. Oh my gosh. That is a black bass. He's boiled on it. Well, we've caught a bunch. I mean, we probably caught 20 something fish. No bigs, all small ones. The bigs are probably out here in the middle of the lake, but we're just fun fishing. So really when it gets down to breaking the lake, you gotta catch them how you wanna catch them. Right now we wanna catch them power fishing on a worm, setting the hook, doing something like that. So we're gonna go back. All the fish seem to be on that north end. It was a little more color. Here's like, I mean, it's straight up tea. I mean, it's crazy how dark and it's just clear. But we're gonna go back up here, get a little more vegetation and see if we can catch us a few more. I think we got the most fish on a worm. Whether it was a Texas rig, stick bait, or I did wacky rig it as well. We caught a couple on a popper. I don't think we've caught any frog. I did catch a few flipping, so it's the Texas rig, the plastics have been the deal. We hadn't really caught anything on a jerk bait or anything yet. They'll chase it, but they're not coming unglued on it, so no need to force it, though they won't. I'm gonna catch one doing this. I'm getting through a good bit now. See, when you get them coming sideways like that, that's when you lose them on that big weight. He needs to come almost right to you, and you keep that line tight to him. That weight just, I kind of slacklined him actually. That's on me. The goal, you just want to pull tight, because if not, it's so close contact, you just pop that hole in his mouth every time. I want to bow up and it's like, I'm not moving. You done hooked old big. Dude, I'm telling you, like flipping makes me nervous, because it's like, it's about to be a 21 gun salute for somebody. Like somebody's about to get it. There we go. like watching paint dry until one locks up with it. Old big weight. Look how pretty those bass are. If you don't know where we're at, guess which state we're in. You can't beat that. That noise domed him too. That one was, they're eating brim. Magnum.